UNHCR presence in Syria was established in 1991. It was a relatively small operation until 2006, when thousands of Iraqis had to flee their homes and became refugees in Syria. This was the largest urban refugee situation UNHCR had been involved so far in the region, and that called for new and non-conventional approaches. We were learning a lot along the way. This film will show you how Unhcr Syria organized the registration services, a key to its operation.
The Duma Center, as we know it now, exists since the beginning of 2011. It was created in 2007 to deal with a large number of Iraqis that arrived in 2007 and in 2006. In 2008, the food distribution component was added, and then little by little, different layers were added. And at the beginning of 2011, the latest expansion took place with the integration of the RSD services, the expansion of the community services. And only starting from this date, we can say that it acquired its full multifunctionality. The idea was to create for the refugees and for the asylum seeker approaching UNHCR in Syria a one-stop shop, a place where the refugees could go and have their cases and their situation analyzed from all possible different angles. An organized reception is one of the key for a successful large-scale operation. After the usual security checks, the refugee will take place in the reception area and wait for his turn to access the counters where he will be issued an appointment. Having a prioritized system for issuing an appointment is very important because we cannot expect, for instance, an elderly who is sitting on a wheelchair or a pregnant woman to wait in the queue as long as a single healthy man is doing. Once you obtain an appointment, the applicant leaves the premises after having, of course, received all the relevant forms that he is expected to fill out, and having received also all the relevant information. We'll come back on the day of the appointment, which is indicated on the appointment slip. Urgent cases, of course, we try to process them on the spot. And in general, we try to keep the waiting time as short as possible, especially for those refugees that are undocumented, perhaps they enter the country illegally, because this refugee certificate or asylum seeker certificate that we're going to issue is going to be, in many cases, the only valid identification document that they are going to have. The scheduling of the cases is done through an access-based tool, which we refer to as the scheduler, which has proven to be a crucial element of our operation.
The scheduler is used to organize all registration appointments. The most common appointments that we issue is new registration and renewal. Each one of them also have several subtypes of appointments. So we have like appointments for adding newborn baby, for inactivation a person who traveled, also for replacing refugee certificates as well. The scheduler is not only used for scheduling purposes, but also for identifying trends, for making projections, for analyzing the trends and adding all this information in the registration monthly SITREP. The applicants with an appointment are filtered from the reception to a waiting area.
Whereas to obtain an appointment you only need the physical presence of the principal applicant, the actual interview needs to be attended by the entire family. We have a system of home registration for those people that cannot leave their houses or are confined to an hospital, but in principle all family members need to approach the Duma Center. These would include elderly, children, pregnant women, etc. For this reason, a sufficiently spacious area with access to food, water and toilets need to be put in place. In the case of Duma, we also have two complementary services that were established in coordination with sister agencies and our main local counterpart, the Syrian Arab Red Crescent. One of these services is the child-friendly area, jointly run by UNICEF and the Syrian Arab Red Crescent. This is a space for children which has the double function of entertaining the children, but also identifying possible traumas and problems that the children might have developed during the displacement phase, so that in a later stage they can be able to provide support to these children in the community centers. Another service is the Reproductive Health Clinic, jointly run by SARC and UNFPA. This is mainly to raise awareness on the subject of reproductive health, but also to give the possibility for an actual gynecological checkup by a specialized gynecologist and two qualified midwives. From the waiting area, access to the interview is prioritized based on a number of vulnerability criteria. Each refugee holds a number ticket that defines his/her order in the queue. Different type of appointments have different queues, a bit like in a bank or in a municipality office, and are identified by different colors. The interview area is a long corridor with booths on each side, and is the main area where a team of caseworkers, there are about 24 now, but they reached up to 40 individuals in previous years, interview the applicant. There are two sections of booths, one for normal registration activities, open booth, and one for more confidential type of activities. These are closed booths and are for interviews such as refugee status determination or specialized counseling. Each booth is provided with easy escape ways and panic buttons connected to a switchboard located in the security office. All information contained in the registration form is recorded in our database Progress, and it goes also in a physical file which is created for each individual or for each case depending on the dependency link between the family members. The interview focuses on three main areas, which is the collection of biodata, the identification and recording of vulnerabilities, and the summary of the claim. Capturing this information, especially the vulnerabilities, is very much recommended even in the early stages of a mass registration exercise. Different countries of origin have different eligibility guidelines. So, whereas the Iraqis, for instance, were mostly registered under the prima facie approach, most of refugees coming from other countries are registered initially as asylum seekers, and then they are referred for a refugee status determination interview according to availability of slots. In the meantime, they would remain asylum seekers and they will be issued an asylum seeker certificate. All cases requiring counseling during or after the course of the interviews are referred to the relevant colleague for immediate follow-up or for booking of a specialized appointment with a lawyer, for instance, or other services. Quality control is a very important component of our work, and in the first years it was carried out by a team of international professionals. This function has now been handed over to the more senior national staff. Regardless who is responsible for it, it's very important that all the information captured at the registration level is correct and complete. This is the first step that Unhcr takes towards ensuring the protection of our people of concern, and needs to be done very carefully. A mistake at this stage can have a permanent impact in the life of a refugee. Senior staff members are also responsible for making a referral to the technical unit as relevant. This is the moment in which the information that has been collected during the registration is being used for finding the best solution to assist, protect, and finding a durable solution for the people of concern. We have two filing areas in Duma, one for active files, where files are stored in a filing cabinet, and one for closed files, where files are stored in numbered boxes. The filing room is at the heart of our operation and counts on a dedicated team of 4 individuals. All files are recorded through the file tracking system, and all users of files are supposed to scan the file under their names to keep track of the location of the files. Failing to do that can result in the loss of misplacements of file and in delays in helping the refugees.
One of the challenges Unhcr was confronted with was how to communicate with thousands of refugees scattered across the country. This is how we've been managing this so far. SMS messaging in bulk proved to be the fastest and the most reliable way of informing refugees about important events. This is also very useful when you have to communicate with all refugees or with a set group. Critical to SMS messaging in bulk is obtaining telephone numbers of all refugees, keeping those up to date and keeping the correct link to their file number. You can also use the website and place the same information. This is important in case of SMS messaging failure. For example, Unhcr had to move its assistant location to a different place. Information on a new site with clear directions on how to reach it was placed on the website, and refugees knew how to approach the office. You can also use printed materials like brochures and flyers. For the newcomers, you can design a comprehensive booklet on all the services which refugees can approach. Critical to this comprehensive brochure, use clear language and print the brochure in all languages refugees read and speak. For refugees who stay longer in the country of asylum, thematic flyers prove to be more efficient. There you can include all relevant information in a simple and readable manner. This is how we inform refugees. But how refugees can get in touch with Unhcr? We use a system of hotlines. Hotlines are not new or unique to Unhcr operations, but here I would like to highlight that critical to effective hotline systems is have necessary equipment and have a team equipped with all the knowledge they require to provide a refugee with all information they will need. This can save a refugee from undertaking a trip to the office. I would also like to share that there are always opportunities which you can use in order to send messages or share information to refugees. In reception areas, refugees will spend some time while waiting. Use this time. Place the videos on monitors. Place posters with important messages. Keep the flyers and booklets in accessible manner.
Although the majority of the refugee population is settled in Damascus or in its surrounding area, we have some refugees that live in other cities or even in rural area. in two main concentration of area of refugees, which are Aleppo and Unhcr. We have field offices, and in these field offices we have created small versions of the Duma Center with a permanent presence of registration colleagues that can perform exactly the same activities and deliver the same services which are available in Duma. For all the other locations, we field regularly the so-called mobile registration mission, which normally include between 6 and 10 of our colleagues and can count on a small mobile registration kit.
الناس اللي بتقعد مع ناس اتأذت أو تعرضت لتروما عادة بيحصل فيها بسبب إنه السيستم بتاع الشغل نفسه مش لكن مكتوب في الأبحاث
A well-trained and motivated team is the key for a successful large-scale operation like the one we are running in Duma. Flexible recruitment scheme and contractual arrangement are very important, not only in the phase of setting up, but also in the phase of running and downsizing such an operation. We eventually found the right formula with the UNOPS after also a very good start with the UNV national program. Having competent international staff is very important at the beginning, but empowerment of the national colleagues to start as soon as possible, and even when it's possible, contemplating handover to the local authorities. Organizing regular training for the staff in a variety of topics not only helps them to be more prepared for their jobs, but keeps them motivated. Specialized technical trainings in registration, protection, SGBV, resettlement is alternated with more general ones on human rights, management of times, another topic of interest. Clear reporting line and fair appraisal systems are also very important to ensure transparency and avoid misunderstanding within the team.
Here in Syria, we are trying to follow the latest set of HCQ standards in operational data management. We are using the registration standard database, Progress. This is a registration database to register the people of consent to Unhcr. Progress is an application that can be accessed locally in Unhcr offices and centers. We have like 8 instances or copies of Progress in Syria that get consolidated with each other in a weekly basis. We have a reporting system which is linked to Progress database that helps in producing operational, analytical, and statistical database. In addition, also we have developed some applications that help in filling the gap in data management, such as the assistant database, file tracking system management system, appointment scheduler, and the search tool. We have no biometric system in place. Therefore, we are using search tool to help us identifying double registration refugees and asylum seekers before they are attempting to register in Progress database. It worth to mention that the data sets are harmonized across the region, specifically in Syria, Jordan, and Lebanon. That has helped us in designing a unified statistical portal, also helped us to design a tool to identify double registered refugees within the 3 countries. Finally, we are looking forward for a new version of Progress database that will be accessed online via internet. That will dramatically help to cut down the logistic overhead time and effort spent in administrating and looking after the databases here in Syria.
The center also counts on a team of security guards, which are located at the entrances and other key points, and a dedicated mini administrative section. A staff cafeteria was also a welcome initiative, which was established in March 2011. The choice of the location is a very important element. One should try to avoid having such a large center in the city of the center, but also you should not be too far from the center, and in any case you should not be too far from where the majority of the refugees live. Also, as much as possible, one should try to have all the services concentrated in the same location to avoid, for instance, duplication or movement of files. And if this is not possible, in this case, try to have from the beginning of the operation a good reliable file tracking system. Having a very strong front line of counselors is also very important to avoid sometimes that refugees have to line up and wait to access one of the specialized counseling services, whereas they had a very simple question that could have been answered straight away. Having unified procedures also for refugees of different nationality is important to avoid having at a later stage to harmonize them. Also try as much as possible to limit the number of different applications which are used in the center. And finally, if you're operating in a regional context like we do with the Iraqi operation, try as much as possible to use from the beginning biometric, and if this is not possible, to have other tools that can help identifying, detecting double registrations.